This is Rachel Jenkin here with Phyllis Ludwig.
Water's life to all of us. Without it, we'd be nowhere. I was always a little leery of water. I never learned to swim or hardly even wade. We lived in New Mexico on the reservation, and lots of dry stream beds, very little water, so I was never around it much. But after I moved to Colorado, lots of water so far. And I think the funniest memory I can remember is my husband trying to teach me to water ski. And he put not only a life belt on me, but a life jacket.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
so afraid.
Where was that? Where did he try to teach you?
At La Platte's Pond, here north of the highway. And he would try to get me to come up on the skis. Well, I couldn't do it. So he went underwater. I stood on his shoulders and finally took off. That's my closest interaction with water.
Did you ever learn to swim?
No.
Nope.
Well, I did take swimming lessons, and I got to where I get across the pool, and that was it. And I was about 32 then.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, you mentioned living on the reservation.
Yes.
There's not much for water there?
No, very dry.
Ugh.
The stream beds were dry, and the most interesting thing we found there were the fossils in the bottom of the stream beds and the rocks.
Jeez. I think you're the first one to mention Colorado as wet. So it must have been very different than than here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Shelly was just talking to her, and she, Colorado, it's dry. There's not as much water here, but it's definitely tightly controlled.
Right, it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Or you couldn't make a living otherwise, and you couldn't have your towns. We have to respect both water rights for both of them in order to make it. And it's been hard the last few years because of the drought season we've been in. But we're thankful for every drop of rain or snow that we get.
Yeah, and what a nice rain season it's been this year.
Oh, it has been great. We're finally getting our haying done.
Yeah,
it
right.
quit long enough for us to hay now.
Yeah, and you'll have to irrigate, right, to get
Exactly.
the hay growing.
And then we turned the water off in October and got the hay ground dry, and then it rained again, so we had to wait, but we're getting there. The worst problem to have is having the towns grow up around the irrigation ditches. The people build too close to the ditches. The water very often seeps through, if it's not piped, into their crawl space or their basements, and therefore you have problems. And now when the subdivisions come in, our ditch companies are requiring them to pipe the ditch that runs up on their property, because otherwise people have damage, unbelievable damage due to the water. But ditches are going to seep if they're not lined or piped. We built a house just below the Schroeder ditch when we first bought land in the 60s. And my husband built about a 4.5-foot crawl space underneath so he could have room to crawl around, work on pipes and whatever. Well, it smelled musty after a few years, and I went and raised the trap door in the bottom of the closet, and the water was up to about 2 inches of our floor joists. So the ditch had leaked that much over the few years, and so we got a pump, pumped it out, and my husband did a French drain at the back of the house. No more problems. The ditch company did line the ditch with bentonite before they turned the water back on the next year, and that pretty well controlled it for a long time.
Now, how long have you been in Colorado?
67 years. Well, I've seen the people that don't know about water rights and allocations and stuff move in, and because there's water running near their house, they think they can take what they want. And that's not the way the Colorado water law works. You have to have water rights. And that's been part of our most difficult. And, of course, cleaning the ditch every year. People throw some of their trash, their limbs, their grass clippings and stuff in the ditch, and we have to take care of that problem. But, and thank the good Lord, we've only had one drown in our ditch, and that was, years and years and years ago. A little 2-year-old toddler was out playing. The grandmother went in the house, and he fell in the ditch and drowned. But that's why we are encouraging piping through the subdivisions. It's just too dangerous. Well, water attracts kids regardless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They either want to be in it or fish in it or something.
Kids,
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's dangerous. Water's very dangerous, and it just looks inviting.
So piping the ditches now.
That's a very expensive process.
Smart.
We wanted to do it on one of the ditches, but it would have cost us over $3 million. So now the town has agreed a few years ago to require the subdividers that are along the ditch to pipe it at their expense, and then we maintain everything. Well, I appreciate that they have kept water on the western slope. That has been a battle for many years, trying to take it over on the eastern slope where there's more growth to the cities and such. And so far, the people that we've put in office on our western slope has kept it here for us.
That's good.
And downstream,
so good.
too. Yeah, it feeds the tribe, too. And That's very important because they have senior water rights. Oh, yeah, there have been a lot of water wars in the past.
Yeah.
I went to a seminar in Mancos, Colorado a few years ago, and I was the only woman there. There's 50 men and me. And the narrator asked each one why we were there, and he came to me and he said, "And why are you here?" And I said, "Well, I liked your seminar title." And he said, "What was that?" And I said, "Whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting."
If that's not the
And that's
truth,
true.
oh my gosh, yes.
Several people have been killed over water in the valley here.
At
My
all.
husband's great-grandfather, in fact, shot and killed a man and his son over water rights back in the 1800s.
Oh my gosh.
And then he shot himself. He couldn't speak English good. He came from Germany, and when he heard the marshal and them were coming, he thought they were going to hang him, so he shot himself. So that was a tragedy for 3 people
For sure,
and their
yeah.
families. But there's been more before that, too, so
But I mean, if that's not a testament to, what it means.
how valuable
what
it is.
Yeah.
It'd be a hard life if we didn't have it.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
So
I know.
we're appreciative.